was rough. I feel like when I was growing up, she didn't understand my anxiety because she, growing up, had seen her friends die. Right. Like, she had been through so much stuff that, like, my issues to her kind of felt like
smaller
or something. Like, my psychological contractions. There's like, I'm looking at the clock, like, how many minutes in between these contractions? And then it'd be like, and then I'm like, let me go. And then it's like,
So imagine being married and publicly humiliating your husband to the point that your daughter is actually praying for you to be with someone else, even though she's never met the person before. And not only that, the person is not even alive. Jada has always talked about the unconventional ways that she and Will raised their children, Jaden and Willow, but it's possible that their parenting and marriage drama took things a little too far with their kids, especially Willow. Not too long ago, Willow Smith got on the internet talking about she was in labor. Everyone was like, who out here getting Willow Smith pregnant? And the people were starting to wonder how the Smith family were able to keep a secret for that long. But it turns out Willow wasn't actually pregnant. Instead, it was just her latest attempt to show up her mom, Jada Pinkett Smith. Because it looks like she's done with her mom always having something to complain about and trying to control her image at the expense of their family. For starters, there's the whole Tupac situation that never goes away, to the point where Willow got so stressed as a child she had to write a letter to him to come and take care of her mama. But it's not just Tupac, because there have been hints here and there that Will and Jada's marriage is toxic. And since Jada knows that Will considers divorce a failure, she allegedly uses that to manipulate Will, and that has also rubbed off a bit on her relationship with her kids, who have to see all of that play out. And now Willow isn't having it anymore, and she is showing once again that she is always going to do what she pleases.
Shannon, now it's making a whole lot of shit make sense because her ass was on drugs when she was laying up fucking August Alsina. Now it all makes sense because we couldn't understand it before. I do think they're oversharing, right? When you are a family as rich as the Smiths and as popular as the Smiths, you know the things that are and are not going to catch fire in the media. Considering what your mama and daddy just came off of with the slap and stuff, and considering how simple-minded a lot of people are, especially around the topic of psychedelics and drugs, this was just not something I would have stacked on top of my mama's plate.
But let's rewind for a little bit, because for a while now, Willow and Jada have actually had a pretty decent mother-daughter relationship. Ever since she started to do music her own way, Willow had come to reconcile with some of the struggles she had growing up in the midst of the drama with Will and Jada's marriage. And doing the Red Table Talk together also allowed them to bond and talk about some stuff from Willow's childhood that she needed closure on. But the two of them started to butt heads again after the infamous slap at the Oscars. I mean, Will Smith basically put a dent on what was supposed to be his big night out by going on stage and putting his hands on Chris Rock for making a GI joke about Jada. Will faced a ton of backlash for his decision, but what got people really talking was when Jada didn't even seem to support his decision. She claimed that she was just as surprised as everyone else when Will did that, because apparently they didn't come to the event as husband and wife. Rather, she just came to support him and didn't expect that he would go all out like that for her.
I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
My wife's name
out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
Even though Jada didn't see a problem with throwing Will under the bus after he almost torched his career for her, Willow didn't seem to agree with her mother's way of doing things. So she also put out her own statement asking for people to remember that her dad was only human and that she had also learned to see her parents as simple people and tried to accept them as such. And the rift between mother and daughter only seemed to grow deeper when Jada went on to her book tour and spilled more of the family's troubles, especially her drama with Will Smith, out there to the public. One of the major reasons why Jada's tour happened to get so much attention is that it looked like she couldn't help but have something negative to say about Will Smith and her marriage to him the whole time. And it was like nothing more than a burden to her, and downplayed the things that he had done to make her happy in the relationship. And according to Willow, the whole thing reminded her of how her mom also downplayed her anxiety when she was young, leaving her to struggle alone. Jada even admitted that at one point Willow's tears annoyed her because she believed that her daughter had nothing to cry about, especially when you think of the type of upbringing Jada had.
Or having upset, the energy was always like, take that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, take that somewhere else.
Because that's how
and
I
deal
was
with it on
treating
your
myself.
own.
I didn't want to be with my own feelings. That her tears were so offensive to me.
I'm sure.
So offensive, which I was like, take that over there.
Yeah.
We can't afford that here, not realizing.
As if the anxiety she was already dealing with didn't have her in a bad position, Willow had to also talk about having to deal with her mother's obsession or love for Tupac. And at this point, we all believe that if Tupac was still alive, Will would be a thing of the past because Jada has refused to let that man go, even decades after his death. Will has also talked about how he felt second to Tupac and couldn't even talk to him when he was alive because he was so jealous of the way that Jada loved him.
I could never open up to interact with Pac, you know, and because we had a little bit of a thing, right? Because, they grew up together and, they loved each other, but they never had that, they never had a sexual relationship, but they had come into that age where now that was a possibility. And then Jada was with me, so, Pac had a little thing on that, but she just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince, so it was like, I never could, like, even we were in a room together a couple times, I couldn't speak to him, and, he wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him.
And if Will felt this way, can you imagine how much it rubbed off on Jada and Willow? Now, Willow had spent many years allegedly watching her mom be unhappy in a marriage with Will to the point of affecting her relationship with her children. And it got so bad at one point that Willow had to write a letter to Tupac, a man she had never met before and who passed away before she was even born, to come and take her mom so that they could finally be happy. So after all those years of watching her mom ignoring her struggles, according to Willow, it took a lot of inner work to forgive her mother and to put all of that in the past and try to work on their relationship. But Jada's recent actions have got Willow looking at her mother sideways again, because Jada's behavior isn't just a one-time thing, and it continues to have ripple effects on not just her but their whole family. And people are siding with Willow on this one because they have seen the impact Jada and Will's drama has had on their children, and how Jada has always seemed to push their troubles in their family into the spotlight whenever she has the chance to do so. Jada Pinkett is manipulative. She doesn't even deserve a man like Will Smith. She's for the streets, destroying your whole family for Tupac Shakur that might have been with another woman if he was still alive. As a mother of a now adult child, let's focus on healing our childhood traumas before we have children. The funny thing about Jada Pinkett Smith is that people refuse to label her a narcissist, but if she were a man, she would be called a gaslighting narcissist. But what do you guys think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.